The woman had only gone to the restroom during her flight. She never imagined that simple act would end up saving her life. Just as Lisa was heading back to her seat, the plane suddenly began to shake violently. Before she could even react, a sudden jolt of turbulence sent her tumbling uncontrollably through the cabin. Terrified, she screamed for help, but no one responded. Moments later, she blacked out from the impact. When she came to, everything around her was eerily quiet. Blood was dripping from a cut on her forehead, but there was no time to worry about that. She pushed open the restroom door to check what was going on and was met with a horrifying sight. The plane had crashed into a snowy mountain. The fuselage was torn apart, and lifeless bodies were scattered across the snow. Lisa realized, in shock, that she had survived a plane crash. With freezing winds biting at her skin, she had no choice but to take a coat from one of the victims to stay warm. Bracing herself, she began searching for other survivors. Then she heard something faint sounds coming from nearby. Following the noise, she found a man trapped beneath the wreckage. Without hesitation, Lisa pulled him out. To avoid freezing to death, the two of them took shelter in the airplane's restroom, using blankets to stay warm. The temperature had dropped to well below zero. In a desperate attempt to keep him alive, Lisa placed Will's hands against her chest to warm him. Huddled together, they barely made it through the night. The next morning, Lisa emerged to find everything buried in snow. White mountains surrounded them on all sides. Hopelessness began to creep in, but then Will came over, offering words of encouragement. He told her to think of her family, her friends, and the life waiting for her beyond the mountain. His words gave her the strength to keep going. With a storm looming on the horizon, Will suggested they head down the mountain. Lisa followed him, even though the route led along steep cliffs, a nightmare for someone with a fear of heights. At one point, she slipped and nearly fell, but Will grabbed her just in time. After hours of climbing, they reached a ledge halfway down, only to discover it led to a dead end. Will tossed his backpack off the cliff and jumped down onto a tree to break his fall. Lisa followed, landing hard on top of him. Thankfully, neither of them was seriously hurt. Their journey continued, but disaster struck again, an avalanche. Lisa was buried under the snow. Will dug desperately and finally managed to pull her out. Exhausted and freezing, they found shelter in a nearby cave where they were finally able to rest and where their bond deepened into something more. But their trials weren't over. As they crossed another ridge, Will slipped and fell off a cliff. He broke his arm and sustained internal injuries. Lisa splinted his arm as best she could, then set off alone to find help. Along the way, she encountered a starving wolf. Despite her weakness, she fought it off and killed it. Barely hanging on, Lisa eventually stumbled onto a road before collapsing from exhaustion. When she woke up, she was in a hospital bed. Her mother was by her side, explaining that a passing driver had found her just in time and rushed her to the hospital. From Lisa's pocket, a nurse had retrieved a note written by Will pleading for help. Thanks to that note, the police were able to track him down just in time to save his life.